Company UK, otherwise known as CICL UK, a business that serves as an intermediary between Kenyans and diaspora business opportunities and the other way round. She's still in studio with me today. I would like her to introduce herself. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you very much. Yes, as you said, my name is Mary Jonjo. I'm a business development director of a company by the name Connect Integrated Company UK Limited. We are based in London, actually at the financial hub of London, that is Canary Wharf. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay, thank you very much. You are no stranger to the Kenya diaspora media, and you're definitely no stranger to the many people that you have worked with. Thank you very much to everyone who's found a minute to tune out to and listen to us today. So, Mary, your business model is quite intriguing, and what you're doing is very interesting. Of course, we begin with you telling us who you are and what you're doing in terms of business.
Okay. So our company is primarily set to connect investors with investment opportunities between Kenya and UK and vice versa. So again, between Kenya and the UK and UK and Kenya. So this journey did not just begin, out of the blue. It has a history to it. So initially, when I came to this country around 2015, I was primarily just, it was under global expansion, the need of a company to grow, to grow its wings outside Kenya. So around 2015, we set up a subsidiary company in the UK for a real estate company I was representing in Kenya. And that is how we got now into the UK market. So during my stay in the UK, I realized that there was a huge gap, a massive gap. What my area of speciality was real estate properties. For those of you who have interacted with you, I've sold to your property at some point. I've sold thousands of properties in the UK. And that is now to the Kenyan properties in Kenya. And during my days of selling properties, because I crisscrossed this country, north, south, name it, I went to very many cities, over 40 cities. I realized that there was a huge gap. Especially when it came to other sectors, because real estate is only one of the investment opportunities. But there are many other opportunities across other sectors: agriculture, health, tech, name them. There are very many other opportunities. And in 2023, I decided, you know what, I think it's about time we started addressing all these other sectors. So what I did is just diversify. So I included all these other sectors that I had not really engaged in. So yeah, so that's how the whole idea of UK, Kenya, UK started. And so far, maybe without going to too much details, I think this is now our second major UK, Kenya, UK. So last year we were in Kenya, in Nairobi in October, with over 20 UK British companies. And we had a wonderful time for 3 days in Nairobi. Lots of things which I'll discuss later that arose out of that particular mission. So now, because of the demand, we have another mission. Kenyan businesses. We are inviting Kenyan businesses to come to the UK and, of course, partner or form collaborations with the UK companies as well as the Kenyan diaspora.
Okay, thank you very much for that elaboration. In your own words, Mary, what problem is CICL trying to solve for the Kenya diaspora and for Kenya as a whole? Because you've talked about an event, but I know from 2023 to 2025, there has to be a problem that you have identified and have set out to solve.
ideally, it's you will not believe this, but it's very simple. It's just connecting all these very important players together. So we have the Kenyan diaspora, Kenyan diaspora businesses, whom you can't ignore. We have the UK businesses, and we have the Kenyan businesses in Kenya. How do you get all these people together under one roof?
Okay.
You know, so the thing was, yes, they want to trade with each other, but how do you hasten this? How do you, ensure that these collaborations, these partnerships, are going and the engagements start? So like I said, during my property days is when I identified and saw that there was a need to, to have a very intentional effort to bring all these three critical people under one roof.
Okay. So previously, when we've interacted and we've looked at your business model, you're saying that you are diversifying from real estate, say health to education. What are some of the services that CICL are currently happening to make that diversification possible?
Okay, so some of the things is especially like what we are doing right now, because what we're doing is inviting Kenyan companies across all these sectors, and we are matching them with companies in the UK, similarly within the same sectors. So matchmaking these companies is very, very key. And I might want to tell you why it is very key to matchmake, because you can imagine a company in Kenya trying to look for a counterpart in the UK. They don't know each other. They have never met each other. Probably they just, have a few correspondences through emails. It's not that easy. It has its challenges as well. And one of the reasons why this particular kind of events are very, very critical is because we do something called matchmaking. And I'll tell you why matchmaking is very, very important. If you can just allow me 2 seconds. So matchmaking, mainly it aligns complementary strengths. So if your strength in Kenya is shipping avocados, then we look for someone who will buy those avocados on this end. For example, what we're saying is we are trying to, to ensure that it is targeted partnerships, which is very important because it removes the time wasting of you, having a conversation with someone who probably you'll never collaborate or even partner. Also, something else is investors, for businesses and investors, they can connect where there's real potential for collaboration. So we are going straight to the point and not, not just blind or just guessing that these two people could do business. So we are going a step further and ensuring that we are matchmaking the companies coming and the companies that are in the UK.
We are Kenyans and we definitely love a good plug and a plug that you can rely on. A plug is a very Gen Z term, whereby someone who connects you to a place where that definitely saves you time and money and definitely energy, because time is a currency in these generations. So if you can find someone who can save you time so that you do not have to wade through the mud, that is the service that CICL. Looking back and reflecting at 2024, you had a very successful event, and you've said that several partnerships did come from that. I want us to talk about some of the outcomes and the impact that that event had, and how that has built up to the event that we are going to have in May.
Thank you for that. Actually, 2024, as we were doing the event, we didn't know the exact outcome. We had a theory of what would come out of all that, but it was amazing. And up to date, we are still seeing the, some of the funnels still, and the leads still reaching out to us. So it was a 3-day affair, but really it is it's still ongoing even as we speak right now, because our first people whom we reached to were the people who attended the 2024 mission, and most of them have confirmed that they will be coming because they must have seen something that was quite valuable on their end. So maybe I might point out a few of the milestones that we've achieved so far from the 2024 partner mission. So some of the partnerships, of course, I mean, some of the outcomes was strategic partnerships and agreements. So we were very pleased to see the Kenyan diaspora or the Kenyan businesses, the diaspora businesses participate in this. And I would want to, point out some of them were very active. We have people like Sakoma Global Foods led by Perez Ochieng and Sam Ochieng. They were very, very active during the panel discussions. We had Champion Homes led by Lucy Kihara. They were there asking questions. We had other companies like TKDM, they were there, yes, and many other Kenyan diaspora businesses. So just seeing that kind of participation was very, very encouraging to us. So apart from the strategic partnerships, which I'm sure, I believe we had one or two major ones, we also had other strategic partnerships with banks, for example, KCB Bank. Out of this partnership, because we had invited KCB Bank, they are one of our main sponsors, CICL was able to form a strategic partnership with them, and we were appointed as one of their main key agents in the diaspora. Actually, they will also be participating in this year's 2025 mission. So that was also a good thing. So we also had strategic partnerships with companies like Finsco Africa, Superior Homes, just as a result of this engagement. But also notably, we had some very interesting conversations regarding agrobusiness. And I would like to point that out, if you give me a minute. So we had agribusiness collaborations. So we had potential collaborations worth over 10 million. That's in dollars, which were discussed between UK investors and Kenyan agribusinesses, particularly in export-oriented production and value addition. That was key. So we had companies like Flamingo Horticulture Limited. We had people like we had companies like Gasharage Tea Factory. They were very, very quite outspoken during the conversations and during the panel discussions. So other things, other outcomes were we had a session whereby people were given a chance to visit the Konza city. And we had investors who expressed direct interest with partnering with Konza. So those are conversations that we're still following up to see, how it goes. So, a lot of conversations surrounding digital transformation. Actually, if I may remember very, very well, the most intense discussion during the panel discussions was the technology, or the one surrounding tech. It was very intense. We had very many panelists, and for the people who are there, I'm sure they can resonate with what I'm talking about. So the main thing here was Kenyan tech startups and innovation hubs. How we can get this going in Kenya. So I will keep it brief because I'm aware that we have time constraints. We just have, I think, 40 minutes or so. But I will keep it brief, and I'll leave it at that. But before I go, regarding that particular topic, we also had a partnership with Kenya Airways. So Kenya Airways have onboarded us as one of their partners in terms of whenever we have this kind of events, we are telling everyone, hey, use our national carrier, let's promote our own carrier. So actually right now as we speak, we have a special code for anyone who is traveling. They're given a special code and they get this big discount from Kenya Airways. I'll get into those details.
Please tell us the code.
Yes.
Please tell us the code.
I can only, it's on our website. So once you go to our website, if you click on travel, then you're going to see, it takes you straight to a certain page that is created by Kenya Airways. And that's where now you can get your promo codes and your discounts.
Okay, so thank you very much for sharing that. For anyone who's planning to travel within Kenya or outside, please make sure you visit that website. There could be a discount or something that would save you money. So I have a couple of questions based on the conversations that we've had. You said that CICL signed major partnerships with KCB, Kenya Airways, and Superior Homes, among others. What does that mean in real terms for the diaspora? Because it's one thing for the papers to be signed, but are we seeing real change on the ground? Did the conversation end with the papers?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. So, follow up. So what has happened is for Kenya Airways, the engagements are ongoing. They are still participating in the upcoming trade mission, which is next month. So that means, they are still. It's very important we are able to be, to be loyal to our national carrier. I've seen how Nigerians are very loyal to their carrier, and they rarely would deviate from that. So having, Kenya Airways in these events and seeing more of them, pushing that brand visibility out there, I believe is very, very important for the national carrier. We know it's been struggling and we know they're turning things around, but the diaspora is here. If each and every person in the diaspora was using Kenya Airways to go to Kenya, you can imagine what kind of business Kenya Airways would be. Yes. So the other thing is companies like Superior Homes. We launched them in the UK. I think we were in Kenya in October. In December, they were in the UK. Fisco Africa, currently, we have a roadshow that is being organized for them so that we launch them into the UK market. So some of these things, they take time, but surely, gradually we work towards achieving some of these goals that we had set out to achieve.
Okay. You've also mentioned something about preliminary deals that are worth millions. I want you to assure Kenyans and even investors that this actually does translate to real change on the ground in Kenya. Because for you to bring these Kenyan businesses and tell them that there is opportunity for you in the UK, they need to see that whatever happened in 2024 and the millions that were pumped into these businesses are actually translating into something. How are you quantifying that?
Right. For example, right now we are dealing with a company that, and we didn't know them before the trade mission. We got to know them through the trade mission. So this company, what they do is they import laptops and in huge quantities because they supply government, educational institutions, and other retailers. And, for the longest time, they've wanted to come to the UK market, but they didn't know exactly, where to. What I normally see is where to start.
Okay.
The person to trust on that other end. There is always that push and pull. And sometimes that's where we lose the business. So we were able to reassure them. We were able to go to the manufacturers, of the refurbished laptops. We were able to get that deal going. So as we speak right now, they have signed a deal whereby they will be having 40-feet container laptops and accessories being shipped to them. So those are some of the, like I said, I cannot name each and every one of them, but we have serious things happening in the background.
That's really comforting. And as we get towards 2025, we can definitely conclude that 2024 was constructive. And therefore, anyone who wanted to join the event that will be happening in the UK can see that there's real change that is happening. And the money that is actually pumped into these businesses does translate to real change in Kenya and in the diaspora. So moving forward, we have established that 2024 was a good year, and now we want to make 2025 a good year. There is something that you've talked about, that this business model does have a precedent of South Korea and Greece. So I would like you to tell Kenyans and those in the diaspora how the power of connecting and adopting global lessons comes into what CL is doing?
Actually, I think thank you for that question. It's a very it's a great question, and it has really motivated me. And it is one of the, I can say it has been one of my greatest motivations, just seeing the power of diaspora. I'm not talking about the person who sends 100 pounds to the mom for shopping. I'm not underrating that, but I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about the diaspora businesses. That is a powerhouse right there. And I'm going to tell you this. There's a case study that was done in South Korea about a diaspora in, how the diaspora played a huge role in the economic revival of South Korea. For most of you, if you remember, South Korea was a very poor country in the 1950s. Maybe some of you could remember the history. And most of its land was called agrarian land or just farmland. So they did not have all this industrial technology that they have now. But what happened? Something must have happened for them decades later to revolutionize and become what South Korea is today. So the role of the diaspora in South Korea, how do they contribute? And I would want anyone listening to me today to think about it, to take a minute and think about it. What is this that they did? There was nothing, spectacular. It's just, it was just the skills and knowledge transfer. That was one of the things that they did. So the South Korean expatriates, especially those ones who are in US, Europe, and Japan, they returned home and collaborated with their counterparts, and they introduced a lot of skill and knowledge. And that is what I was saying to someone else the other day, that the Kenyan diaspora who are here, they've been exposed to a lot of skill and knowledge. Our people in Kenya who are coming in, they have a chance of learning some of these things and going back with the knowledge and skill and, and teaching the other people who are in Kenya. So another thing that they did was they helped channel foreign direct investment, FDI, into South Korea. How was that? The diaspora owned businesses. They invested back home. And this is what I'm talking about, that the diaspora businesses it's a soft powerhouse. So their contributions enhance the industrial growth and entrepreneurship spirit in South Korea. So another point was that they were able to bridge the global markets. So how did that happen? I have seen here in the UK, people who, for example, I'll give just a very brief example of people probably who deal with vegetables. Or even, let me use another example that I like, avocados. I'm telling you, if you try to get into that market, the cartels are so organized, they're so tight, you cannot even penetrate. It's next to sometimes impossible. I know someone who used to do coffee. And I remember we were in one of these high-profile offices, and he was talking about the frustration. He has the money, he has the factory, he set it up, but he cannot penetrate into supplying that coffee in the UK. And I thought to myself, he's a Kenyan. And this is what now this is how the South Koreans beat this. By bridging the global markets, they were able to understand the South Koreans in diaspora. They were able to understand consumer behavior and distribution networks. Those are very powerful points. Once you understand the distribution networks, that is all you need. So you will be able to guide the person who is coming from Kenya that these are the distribution networks. But if they use maybe the normal channels, they go and hit a brick wall and they become discouraged. Think about it. Think about Samsung, LG, all those gadgets by South Korea. How did they become so popular in diaspora? It was because of their fellow diasporian Koreans who are already in diaspora. So that to me is very, very, very powerful. So there's also something else about the cultural diplomacy, whereby you promote your heritage or you promote your culture. I have been to many restaurants here in the UK that offer Kenyan cuisine, And you know, when I go there and see them selling that githeri, that tusker, that, you know, nyamachoma, it's a very nice feeling, you know, because what you're doing, you know, apart from just the business side of things, you know, we are really promoting the culture amongst, a foreign land, which is also a very big power asset. For example, if you think about Korea, what happened after some time? In US there was a small city that was being named after, because there were so many Koreans there and they had adapted the Korean culture, and they had even gone into making the whole area become a Korean American, city. So this in itself is a soft power asset and a major economic contributor. And the last one again is, of course, the students who studied abroad. Most of the students, we have like very many students here, they returned with global perspectives. So when they went back to their countries, they were thinking differently, and they were able to impact the same back to their countries. So of course, there was research partnerships, which brought a lot of course, collaboration with the diaspora academics. So what can the government do? How does the government, how can the government help us now when it comes now to all this? Having said all this, how can the government help? So one is to encourage the return of encourage return migration. So two is dual citizenship, which Kenya has already done. So kudos to Kenya. So kudos to Kenya for that. So probably the government can also try and offer special economic programs for overseas Kenyans. I saw the Irrigation Ministry offering a very interesting product. So people with idle land in Kenya that is just seated idle, they had a very interesting product by the name NISIP. When you have time, have a look at it. It was interesting, the fact that if you have idle land lying in Kenya, they can come in with their machinery and make the land productive, and the land remains yours, but you're earning from that land. And these are the kind of things I think a diaspora need. Special economic programs backed by government. So what was the impact? So the impact, of course, was very instrumental in transforming South Korea into a high-income nation with world-class industries. So you can see that you cannot underrate the the diaspora businesses. They are a soft powerhouse in themselves, or a big powerhouse, whichever way you look at it. So if we emulate this, there is nothing different. If you look at what we are doing, it's part of this kind of events that bring these kind of initiatives. So we feel that if we are able to empower the diaspora businesses by attending such such powerful events, we will also follow that direction, hopefully, of South Korea.
Okay, that's really nice. And I'm imagining that there's literally no point of inventing the wheel if there is an easier way that is already created and easy to work with, which is what your company is doing. You're taking a script that is already functioning, and making it work for the Kenyan market.
Correct. Absolutely. Because it's been done before. Actually, it's also been done in Greece. Look at the case study. Yeah, if you do the case study of Greece, it's the same thing. So the Kenyan diaspora can really, change things back home through such initiatives and missions.
Okay, I really love the fact that you've highlighted the government's role and what the government can do to make this easier, because yours is just one company that is trying to bring this change. But should the government step in, it could have the machinery and better resources to make this work. So this is a conversation that we should definitely push forward and make sure that it gets to the right people, so that action can actually be taken and Kenyans in the diaspora can have the assistance that they need. So I do have one question.
I must commend. Yes? I must commend the Kenya High Commission. You know, when they heard about this event, they were very supportive. The Ministry of Trade and Investments in Kenya, very supportive, and the SDDA, the State Department of Diaspora, again also very, very supportive, and of course the Ministry of Irrigation. So I would want to say, you know, a big thank you for their support.
Okay, thank you very much. So we've said that the diaspora is a very, very important population, even as these conversations go on, and we can no longer ignore a population that's contributing up to 40 billion in remittances. So why do you say that the diaspora can no longer be left out in these trade conversations?
Diaspora can you cannot leave diaspora in this conversation. And I think we've left there. Look, we've been having all these bilateral talks, which are good things, good stuff. But we are also leaving out a very, very big powerhouse, and that is the Kenyan diaspora, the Kenyan diaspora businesses. We have businesses here who are dealing in billions and millions, big, big, big timers here. You don't hear about them because people don't invite them, but they are there. Why we can't leave them out is simply because, I'll give you one reason or two. Let me give you two reasons of why we can't leave them out. I apologize, it's taking a bit long.
It's okay. So thank you, dear viewers. As Mary Njonjo is preparing her points on sharing, the conversation has been about what the diaspora is doing and why this is a very important conversation. Many times when you have conversations about business, it's just government to government talking, but there's so much that the government does not get to in the grassroots. There's so much that happens in the day-to-day lives of those people in Kenya and in the diaspora. It is through people like Mary Njonjo and what she's doing that we can actually get the real picture on the ground and come up with a roadmap of actual change.
Yeah. So Maureen, so the thing here is I was looking for this word. That's why I was, you know, I was taking a bit of time. I want everyone to think about the Kenyan business diasporas as vital connectors. That's the word I was looking for. These are vital connectors because they facilitate investment through opening market accesses. Yeah. And they also promote our Kenyan products, as well as, you know, driving innovation through skills and knowledge transfer. I think we have covered the bit of skills and knowledge transfer and the bit of, you know, promoting our Kenyan products and, of course, acting as vital connectors. Vital connectors is exactly what we are doing, acting as vital connectors between Kenya and the UK.
Okay.
Yes. So you can't ignore them. These are a key enablers in in order to sustain trade and economic partnerships. They are enablers and vital connectors. Two words.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes.
And of course, even as we continue with the diaspora conversations, we realize just how important the businesses that they're doing and the businesses that they bring back to Kenya. The best act of patriotism that someone can do is that after they have left and they find greener pastures, they bring back the water back home.
Correct.
Because the diaspora countries already have established and working systems. So why just not go copy paste and bring back? So I would like to consider you a patriot and continue building other patriots so that business can grow.
Thank you so much. And having said that, look at look at a case of someone like me, myself. You know, it was after 2015, after all these many years, I'm bringing back the knowledge. You know, back to Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
We've looked at the past. We've looked at where we are, but we have a conference coming up in May that we need to prepare for. as entrepreneurs in Kenya who had supposed to travel to come to the UK. So I would like us to just do a deep dive and tell people in Kenya and in the UK and every other part of the globe what it is that they're expecting in the 2025 conference. You have a very interesting choice in location. So let's start there.
Yes, we are actually going to hold the event in the hub of London, Canary Wharf. And there are a few reasons why we chose that location. One is because our office is based there. So it's going to be very easy for us to, and convenient for us to coordinate and of course follow up some of these engagements. But apart from that, let me talk a little bit about Canary Wharf for people who probably have never been there. You could be in the UK, you've never been there, or you could be even outside UK. And I would want you to take a minute and just Google about Canary Wharf. This is home to over 120,000 UK banks, and we're talking about those top tier banks: JP Morgan, Citibank, name them. They are all based here. So it is the global financial hub. So it's a home to major banks, investment firms, and international businesses, and it attracts high-profile investors and decision makers. So we had a reason why we specifically wanted to, to have the event in Canary Wharf. Otherwise, there were so many other venues in London or central London. And of course, it symbolizes serious economic intent and credibility. Okay. By holding an event in Canary Wharf. And of course, it creates a strategic environment for forming impactful and cross-border partnerships, just because of its strategic location. So that is, that is the why Canary Wharf. So number two is the event is on the 28th of the mission. We are calling it the Kenya UK Investment Mission. Last year, we were calling it UK Kenya. So last time was the UK companies going to Kenya. This time it's the Kenyan companies coming to the UK. So we are calling it the Kenya UK Investment Mission 2025. So we hope to have this kind of missions every year. And what we expect is that on the 28th, we're going to have a full day conference. And during the full day conference, of course, our main area of focus is 8 sectors. We have real estate, we have agriculture, tech, healthcare, we have import and export, we have, I think I'm forgetting some, but there are 8. So those are our areas of focus. If you go to our website, you'll see all of them. We will have panel discussions. We are going to have, of course, we'll have the keynote speaker, and I want to believe that the chief guest is the PS for Trade and Investments, Honorable Abubakar. And we shall also have exhibitions, parallel exhibitions running alongside the conference on the very, very same day. So it's going to be a full day, packed day, busy day, people showcasing their products, others, in the conference hall. And it's, and of course we shall have the B2B rooms for people who want to have exclusive meetings and such like engagements. On the 29th, we believe that theory without practical is not
promote learning.
Yes, so we saw the impact of having the site visits in the last conference. Okay. So on the 29th, what we've done is we have invited people to book early in advance for these site visits. For example, real estate, we have big tier companies, real estate companies that we've partnered with, like Barclay Group. PLMD is also another company. So you'll have an opportunity to go and see the UK's property sector. How do they build? What do they build with? Have all these conversations, look at the amenities vis-a-vis, the prices. It's also an opportunity for Kenyans to invest if you're looking for, another market to invest in. So, and also many other, we have the flower farms, we have, if it's healthcare, we have some cancer research. I think it is the latest I'll confirm that information because we are still working on the draft, and the draft will be ready by the end of this month, which we shall have on our website. So by the end of this month, you can go to the website and you can see the program, what the program is going to be like, and you can start making bookings for your site visits. So that's how the 2 days are going to look like. We shall also have some very exclusive meetings for some of the key diaspora businesses with some of the government officials coming. So that is also something that we are also really encouraging the Kenyan diaspora businesses. We've had a lot of challenges. If you go to our website and if you see the registration form, we've focused on things like what sector are you in, challenges, what are your expectations from this it's not just about attending a conference. So it's about, how much value can you get out of this conference? You have taken your time off, and you've come to the conference. How much value can we add in order for you to feel that you have really, it was time well spent? So we are really taking things, very seriously in terms of ensuring that the value has been achieved.
Okay, thank you very much. Allow me to cut you short and acknowledge some of our viewers and their comments that they're sending. Thank you, Jen Gitao. You're saying interesting conversation. Looking forward to attending this event. I can't. Merin Jonjo is definitely looking forward to meeting you. Isaac Kimundo is saying looking forward. Boniface Karanja is saying watching, looking forward to representing Tuma Tuma and Safari tickets during the Kenya UK Business Summit. Should there be other comments, of course, or any other questions? As we continue with this conversation, I will definitely send them to you. So you've talked about matchmaking at the beginning of this conversation. There are certain sectors, 8 sectors that you've said are going to come.
Yep.
How does that look like? Because you have 2 days that are really packed.
Yeah. So like I said, the first day is it's a full day conference. Just a full day conference with very dynamic program, and mainly it's for dialogue. Yeah. And then we have the second day. So during the first day, we will have parallel exhibitions.
Okay.
So panel discussions ongoing. We have different sectors, different people doing presentations at certain times. So until currently what we have is the draft program, and I've been sharing with just a few people, but by the end of, I believe, next week, we should be having the final program on the website. So 28th is conferences, exhibitions. If you're a delegate, that is, a great day for you to, to come and network, or just participate, even as a panelist or as a speaker. So let us know in advance if you want to participate as a speaker. Of course, again, we cannot have too many speakers of one sector. So we are also checking and ensuring that it's balanced across all sectors. So we also have sector-specific panel discussions. These ones I've said them, together with the B2B meetings. So those two are critical, the B2B meetings and the sector-specific panel discussions, because this is where you ask your questions. This is where you bring up issues. We've seen people with a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to delivery of things. Like I have a lady who was telling me about, by the time she imports flowers and by the time flowers arrive in the UK, they're already, spoiled. And it's something to do with just a very small thing in Nairobi. How can we streamline? How can we, help this kind of people? We have others who have to import avocados through Spain, because I think there are no taxes there. It's just a whole lot of things. So we are also gathering a lot of feedback, a lot of challenges, and we intend to share some of this information with the policymakers and the decision makers in government.
Okay, this is really nice because I think from the 2 days, the attendees and everyone who will make a point of attending the event, the conference, together the signed bids, will walk away with more than just business cards, and there is real impact that is being promised. So 2025 is coming up and it's business. I want you to give a call to action to every Kenyan entrepreneur who hasn't signed up yet, and to every business in the UK who's wondering, what does Kenya have to offer me?
Right. First of all is to shout out, because you mentioned someone there, and I really want to shout out to them. That is Boniface. And if someone is coming to the UK, you definitely have to sightsee some of the major landmarks in London. You know, you can't go back without seeing the Big Ben, you know, seeing the Tower Bridge. So there is a guy, you know, by the name Boniface of Safiri Tickets, who we are working alongside. So he's going to offer you itineraries, even one-day itineraries. So if you come after the conference, you know, don't go back just yet. Stay a day or two longer, and you know, and visit even the countryside of UK. It's very beautiful. So I forgot to mention that, which was also in my points. So just reminding people who are going to come that it's going to be towards a weekend. So you can as well take time off that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and give yourself that nice treat.
Okay. That would be a really nice holiday for any kind.
Absolutely.
Okay, we definitely look forward to that. I have a question, however, still on the business side. If someone does not know where to begin, or maybe how to start to get to you, to get to a plug and get to an investment, how does that journey look like?
Okay, so it's very, very simple. The first stop right now is you type cicluk.co.uk. That is the first step. It's that simple. cicluk.co.uk. On the homepage, I hear they call it the hero page. I don't know. On the homepage, on the homepage, you will see the investment mission. So you click either on learn more to get more details, or you go straight to registration. So you can do everything through the website. I don't need to send you a link. I don't need to do nothing. All you need to do is just type cicluk.co.uk, and it will take you straight to the registration form. The minute you fill that form, the form comes to us. Once it comes to us, we are able to pick that data, and we are able to start now conversing with you, you know, finding out what sector are you in, you know, matching you and finding out a bit more information. After that, you know, if everything checks out, everything is okay. And I must also point out that we are looking for only genuine Kenyan businesses. So you must be trading, and you must be a genuine trader. Because what we are looking for, like I said earlier, is we want people who will bring value to this whole mission. So once we get your information and everything checks out, then you're issued a ticket and you're issued an invitation letter. So this is in the case of an international attendee. You are sent an invitation letter. So you're expected to go to the embassy at least latest by around the 10th of April. Reason being, you know, with the embassies, sometimes it's important to give them a bit of time. But having said that, we have two types of visas that are, you know, for the UK. So we have a priority visa, which takes 5 days, and we also have another standard visa that takes about 14 days. My take is, don't wait until, you know, especially if it's around the 15th and you're doing the standard visa, you might be disappointed. So anything from the 15th, you might be thinking about doing a priority visa. So again, if you want to reach us, you can reach us on our website channels. Again, CICL UK. Type on the CICL UK, you can get us through all our social media links, Facebook, Instagram. What else is there? Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, I think TikTok, yes, and TikTok.
Okay,
so
that's really nice.
Yes. Or you can even send us an email or send me a text. I can give out my number if it's helpful.
That's okay. You can just read it out.
Okay.
And then whoever would like to DM you can definitely get to you.
Yes. So my number is +44 75 68 75 228. I'm going to repeat that. +44 75 68 75 228.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. For those people who really struggle with social media and prefer personal contact, Mary Njonjo has shared her phone number, and it will be running in the show notes of this show on Facebook Live and YouTube. Thank you very much, Brian Rotich. You're saying good insights here. Thank you, Rada Correa. She's saying good stuff. Mary Njonjo sounds like an intelligent woman. I believe that's a compliment to you, Mary Njonjo.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you to everyone who's finding time to watch this. And we've concluded the business aspect of this show. And we definitely have some questions for Mary Njonjo. She's a woman and a powerhouse in business. And as a fellow woman, I cannot conclude this show without asking the role that women are played in diaspora-led economic diplomacy. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh no, I lost you a little bit. Is that me? Sorry,
no,
I lost
no.
you.
So I was saying the role that you're playing as a woman,
yes,
and what other women are playing in terms of diaspora-led economic diplomacy, because what you're doing is diaspora economic diplomacy.
Yes, I think I don't know how to answer that question, but I think the role that the only thing we're doing is just filling a gap. That's that's all we're doing. We're just filling a gap that is very, very, you know, it's big. You can see it, it's very visible, you know, so we are only filling a gap and hopefully, you know, giving a solution to both these countries and hoping to, you know, give some impact to our economy in one way or another, no matter how little it is.
Okay.
But a change in the right direction is worth the cost.
Okay, so Rich Langat is saying that Mary Njonjo is a trailblazer in the and is innovating a wonderful opportunity for Kenyan businesses to benchmark with the UK counterparts. Well done to her and her team. Murerwa K is saying interesting conversation, good question on funding and investors. So we do look forward to having some of these comments and some of these questions, even as we continue. So, Mary Njonjo.
Yes.
Even as you gear for this event, I believe it's just a second one of many that are yet to come. How does success look like, and how will you measure impact over time?
For me, success looks like having these partnerships going.
Okay.
To me, if you will come and find market, if you sell avocados, I keep using this example of avocados. If you sell avocados and we are able to connect you with the market, for me, that is. If you're looking to source for goods, maybe from the UK. You've never known how you can do this. And we are able to, to come in between and help you or assist you do these things. To me, that is success. If we are able to get our Kenyan diaspora businesses to partner with our fellow Kenyan companies coming into the UK and exchange knowledge between one another, to me, that is success. To me, that is what success looks like. Success is not quantitative. You don't have to equate it always as money. Sometimes success can be just transfer of knowledge and skills. So for me, I think I'll be a very happy person to see that those engagements between Kenya, UK, and I'm talking about the Kenyan diaspora. Because like we said initially from the word go is that they might have been left out a little bit, behind. But if the Kenyan diaspora, we've agreed that it's a soft powerhouse. If the Kenyan diaspora can partner with the companies coming from Kenya, I have seen that it will create a massive change in the way we also do business and the way we perceive to do business either in the UK or in Kenya.
Okay, thank you very much. There's someone by the name Diponjiru who's saying, great conversation and eye-open. Thank you, Mary Jojo. It means that whatever we're talking about today does have impact, because entrepreneurship is the core of everything that people do when they leave Kenya. If you're not a student, you're probably employed. And if you're not employed, you're an entrepreneur. And even if you're employed, at some point you would definitely want to be an entrepreneur. I would believe that CICL is a good place to start for any entrepreneur who's looking for a way out.
Correct.
Okay, so as we come to the end of this, you've said that it is very important for Kenya diaspora to have events between Kenya and the UK. And I do understand that it is your brand that you have CICL UK, but the diaspora is so big. Do you have a plan of ever making it CICL diaspora?
Oh, UK chapter. Yeah, and then we go to US and there is the US chapter. Well, I wish it was that easy. Look, it's baby steps, one day at a time. One day at a time. Last year we did October, we did the first ever trade mission. Of course, I have a lot of experience with events and and such like things in the UK, but having done the first one and it was successful, and we organized it from UK. And it was a 3-day event. It showed me that there was a lot of hunger in the market. And again, I've not mentioned this to you as we close. The day we said that we're going to have this event here in the UK, I approached a few community leaders and, I told them, hey, this is what we intend to do. And within 1 week, that group had over 200 people, active people. That shows you the hunger is there in the market. People want this, people want to hear what's happening in the market, who is coming, they want to start somewhere. So you can imagine in a couple of years down the line how far we would be. But again, like I said, we stay hopeful, we start with baby steps, and we see how the next few years look like.
Okay, thank you very much. We cannot conclude without telling people how they can participate in this event, because I'm very sure there are several ways of contributing and being part of the event that is going to be held in May. So please tell our audience how they can support you and how they can be part of the engagement and the conversation.
Okay, so one, you can participate just as a normal delegate. You're just coming to see what's happening. You're even coming to window shop, you don't necessarily have to come and invest. You can come to just window shop and just see what happens in UK. So you could come in as a delegate, you could come in as a sponsor. Like I said, we have several, and I want to really, really take this opportunity to thank all the sponsors from KCB Bank, Finsco Africa, Tuma, Kobe, Kogweno Advocates, and the rest. I can't remember all of them right now. I really want to thank our sponsors. I also really want to thank the part of government that has really taken this initiative so seriously. So the sponsors, I really want to thank them and encourage more to come. Remember, as a sponsor, when you come, you have a lot of brand visibility. You're even given time to speak about your brand. You're given time to even play a video about your brand, and even to answer questions and be a panelist as well. So being a sponsor means a lot. It's a good way to enter into a market, and it's an inexpensive way to penetrate a market. So if you're out there and you're thinking about how do I penetrate the UK market, one of the ways is by coming in as a sponsor. So the third way is by being an exhibitor. What's the difference between an exhibitor and a sponsor? An exhibitor is someone who does not go to the panel, does not speak, but you have your table right there. So, you're mingling with the traffic that is coming, around. So it also adds a lot of brand visibility, and you get to know people. You get to get data. People coming to your desk, you're busy giving them your card, telling them who you are, where you're based. In short, you're putting yourself on a roadmap here in the UK. Then you can also come in as a speaker. There are people who, love speaking during such events. Already we can see that our speaker list form is kind of full, but again, you're welcome to come in as a speaker. We have a speaker form. Again, everything is on the website. So those are the 4 ways you can come in.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Is there a particular cohort of people that you would like to express gratitude for the support that they have accorded you from the beginning, and even as you gear up your efforts towards the event?
I would want to highly say thank you to the Kenyan High Commission. Again, last year they were very big supporters. This year, again, they're really supporting us. So a very, very big shout out and thank you to them. And to my fellow diaspora businesses, I will always say thank you to you. Whatever you're doing in that WhatsApp group, I'm super excited. And I also want to say a big thank you to all the participants of 2024. When we spread word out there that we are holding another mission, I remember within minutes we had bookings from the people who participated in 2024. I want to say a big, big thank you to them.
Okay.
For believing in us and believing in the cause.
They do believe, and I believe that 2025 is going to be a very interesting event with even more eye-opening conversations. To everyone in Kenya and in the diaspora, Mary Njonjo cannot wait to see you in May the 28th and the 29th. The venue of the event is very elegant, and for anyone who's business oriented, that is a very good place to network and definitely learn much, much more. Mary, you would have this final one, but I would like to thank our audience and tell them thank you very much for the kind of participation that you've had and the engagement. Would also like to thank some of the sponsors of our show and everything that they're doing to make sure that we continue running. Thank you to Santa Marie, Pay Angel, Tunic, Imarisha Saka, and to everyone who would like to partner with us moving forward. Thank you very much, Mary Njonjo. I would like to give you the opportunity to have the final word. Say goodbye to our viewers and tell them that you are looking forward to seeing them in May.
So, my dear viewers, if you have never been to the UK, you need to make this trip. I always say that some people, there is a saying in my language which says that it's only someone who has never traveled that says that, oh, my mother is a very good cook. I dare you to travel to the UK. Come and see the other side of life. I can attest to it that you will not be disappointed. Come, let's network, let's engage, and let's do business. And a big thank you to Moses Langat, who made this particular meeting possible.
Okay. Thank you very much, dear viewers, and until next week, Sunday. Stay safe and stay tuned to the Kenya Diaspora Media.
Thank you.